Why not just get a tattoo of a stack of $100 bills? That seems easier than bringing life tattoos to rob a bank. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Tales Showcase, where if we haven't seen you in a while, we assume you died. I'm your host, the Watcher of New Earth. Today we get to look at a more underrepresented character on this channel, the Green Lantern. Published in 1981, this issue was written by the legendary Marv Wolfman, who's best known for the New Teen Titans and who we've already talked about briefly, and drawn by Joe Staton, who's done Penguin Triumphant, one of my earliest videos. Today we join Hal Jordan as he faces the return of the Tattooed Man, who I just realized is a slightly more masculine version of the Polka Dot Man. Let's get started. This is Green Lantern number 144. Our story opens up in Newfoundland as Green Lantern and his on-again, off-again girlfriend Carol Ferris are bidding farewell to the Omega Men, who they helped in the previous issue.
Green Lantern, Carol Ferris, when you first came to us, we treated you as enemies. But you have proven yourselves friends.
It's funny because they both become villains. Primus, the leader of the Omega Men, I think. Sorry, I don't know jack about the Omega Men. Primus says that they must return to free their worlds once they repair their ships. As Hal and Carol fly off, another Omega Man named Demonia watches them and swears that she'll kill all of them. Until then, she'll just hang out on Earth, I guess. Maybe get a part-time at the Pottery Barn. As they fly overhead, Carol mentions how exhilarating it is to be a superhero. To help her get more of this feeling, Hal lets go of her and lets her fall for a bit, before grabbing her again. She thought she was gonna die. That was borderline sociopathic. Elsewhere, a sailor's being chased by some goons. This turns out to be the Tattooed Man, and as he's cornered, he lets loose on his pursuers. He then sprouts wings and says he has to get as far as he can. And he actually does get pretty far. Gets all the way from New York to Los Angeles. But it kind of begs the question, why didn't he just leave the country? The men who were chasing the Tattooed Man call in to tell their boss that they didn't catch him. This angers their boss as he reprimands a boy named Stanley. At Burbank Airport, Hal and Carol arrive and meet their friend Tom Kalmaku. They notice something off about him, and he reveals that Carol's father, who has taken over Fair's heir to their family business, has been laying people off. Carol wonders why she wasn't told, and Hal tells her it's because she's a girl and her father's a misogynist. Old, white, probably billionaire, misogynist, and lays off good workers. Why was this guy not pegged for a cabinet position? Carol assures Hal that her father doesn't hate women, he just doesn't think they're very smart. Is that better for you? Hal, however, has noticed the Tattooed Man standing a little ways away, and immediately engages him. Whoa, what the hell are you doing? He was just standing there, waiting for a taxi, and you straight up punched him? Isn't this profiling? I mean, go ahead, catch him, go for it, but good luck on sending him to prison on the charge of being at an airport. The stupidity continues as Hal pins him by the shoulders, leaving his hands free to manipulate his tattoos. What next, Hal? You're gonna take on Darkseid all on your own?
Stand back and peep the light show. Green Lantern's got this!
Dear God, you're an idiot. They continue to fight as it seems like Tattooed Man is getting frustrated.
You still think all I am is some kind of dumb swab, don't you, Lantern?
Yes, but to be fair, it's your fault for using words like swab. You sound less like you should be fighting Green Lantern and more like you belong next to an animatronic Johnny Depp. To prove that he's smarter, the Tattooed Man binds Lantern in metal, but he still makes the same mistake by leaving his hands free, which would allow Hal to use the ring. But seeing as Hal doesn't take advantage of this, I guess it still proves that the tattooed man is smarter. Congratulations, you win by default.
The tattooed man makes it outside, but is immediately shot at as it seems that more goons have tracked him down. However, he activates his jet skateboard tattoo and speeds out of there.
I remember my first jet skateboard tattoo. I got it right next to my rocket scooter one.
As the tattooed man gets farther away, the trap around Hal disappears. He rushes outside, but the villain is long gone. Hal goes to meet up with Tom and Carol at Tom's apartment, choosing to phase in through the wall.
No joke, I just don't like that Green Lantern can phase through things.
By the way, doesn't it seem like Tom may have identified a little too strongly with Marie on Breaking Bad? My stars and garters, that's a lot of purple. Anyway, Carol's not there. She's at Ferris Air trying to convince her dad that she was doing fine at running the company.
Garbage, Carol, and you know it!
Random smelly thing, Carol, and you know it!
According to her father, Carol was too compassionate to run a company. She apologizes for being unable to be a soulless sellout and storms out. Outside, Hal awaits her.
Carol, was it rough?
That's what she said.
Hal, now extremely frustrated, suggests that they leave Ferris. However, as they turn, they run into Captain Richard Davis, who was Hal's commanding officer, mentor, trainer, and pretty much everything else in the Air Force.
So in other words, he's the reason that Hal's an idiot.
Hal asks what Davis is doing there, and Davis reveals that he's the new vice president of Ferris.
Coincidence? I think not!
Elsewhere, the tattooed man is painting his tattoos on. Pretty sure that's not how tattoos work, but whatever, as he's complaining that they're not as good as they used to be.
Well, I don't need it too strong. Just want to pull off a few heists, get enough money to blow this city.
That's what she said!
That afternoon, the tattooed man robs a bank with flying guns?
Are you 5?
The tattooed man makes it outside, but is immediately greeted by Green Lantern. They start to fight, and this leads to an admittedly cool scene of Hal fighting robots.
Giant robots? Man, they never should have released that Star Wars movie. It just fills jerks like him with ideas.
Go home, Hal. You've crossed the line.
Hal disposes of the robots and pursues the tattooed man, who is taken to the skies. Just as it seems like Hal's going to catch up, a gunshot rings out. Hal goes on to discover that his foes died. And our comic ends with Green Lantern swearing to find whoever killed the tattooed man.
And the answer will shock you. Unless you've been reading from the beginning, in which case you know that it's a big guy who yells at people named Stanley. Anyway, that was Green Lantern number 144. It was pretty good.
While it doesn't necessarily measure up to the Green Lantern stories of the last decade, it's still pretty good. The writing is good, telling a story with subplots but still maintaining the focus where it needs to be, and the art is also really good, giving us some pretty good action sequences.
I mean, sure they're goofy, but balls to the wall insanity has given us some of the greatest moments in comic book history. Just ask Lego Batman. Anyway, as always, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. This is the Watcher of New Earth, signing off. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Tales Show.